Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Greg Howes. This is Morning Pulse. Welcome. Good to have you on with me this morning, the day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, I know. Holidays. Holidays. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving holiday. This is what is commonly called Black Friday, the big shopping day, the introduction to shopping for the Christmas season. So perhaps you're out shopping right now and you have found yourself tuned into the Morning Pulse. Well, that's okay. You can watch and listen while you're shopping. Some of you are at home, some of you may be at work. But wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I'm glad that you are here. Welcome. God bless you so much. I appreciate you coming on. I'm grateful for you. This is Thanksgiving, right? I'm grateful for you. Grateful. I thought about skipping today, and then I thought, I told everybody to enjoy the holiday and then get intense again on Friday. So I thought, I better come on and stay intense about what God is doing. Yeah. So here we are. Here we are. Excuse me. Cornerstone people, we're reading the Bible. And we are in First Peter right now. So catch up with your Bible reading. Stay up with that. First Peter chapters 3 and 4 today, I believe it is. So check it out this Sunday at 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be fully engaged in the presence of God. We'll be online and in person this Thanksgiving weekend, this Sunday of the holiday weekend. So hope that you'll be able to join us either in person or online this Sunday. In person, preferably, come on out and be a part of what God is doing. Join with the people of God. And then Sunday evening, we have Chicago Worship Culture coming in. A night of worship, Sunday at 6:30 p.m. We're going to close out this holiday weekend worshiping our God. It's going to be powerful. So if you're in the area, we hope that you will consider that. And we are building an apostolic foundation. Yeah, we got to repair the cracks so the foundation is stable, sound, and secure. And we are constructing this future movement of God on top of that foundation as we prepare to leave 2023 and move into 2024, heading quickly towards 2030. So we're going to have about 6 years to go in this particular time zone that we're passing through, and heading for some very significant things that will be happening around 2029, 30, 31, right in there. So we're going to continue to move forward, advancing forward, believing and trusting God. Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's jump into it for today. Just a quick review, get us caught up. We've been talking about ascending. We've had prophetic words the last couple of months about ascending, ascend, ascend, ascend. We keep hearing it over and over. Ascend to a higher place. And so that is our desire, to move higher in God. And at the same time that we are ascending, we are believing that right now in November, and we are still in November, ladies and gentlemen, we're still in November. So we're trusting God that long-awaited promises are being fulfilled now. They're being fulfilled now as all the details are snapping into place, coming into alignment. God is moving in the hearts of human beings. He's causing favor to come on your life. That people are going to be showing you favor. People are going to be saying things like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I just felt like I should do this for you. I felt like I should push this deal through for you. You're going to be hearing statements like that as God pours out favor on your life, and long-awaited promises will be fulfilled right now as we're finishing out the month of November. And we've been finding that the higher we go in the spirit realm, the more intense the internal wrestlings become. The internal wrestlings. Seems like the higher you go, some of those nagging, irritating enemies tend to fall off in the higher stratospheres of the spirit realm. But the higher we go, we find that we've got to deal with these intense internal wrestlings that come. The wrestlings with the desires of the flesh, the wrestlings with the grooves that we have formed in our mindset, the way we think about things, the way we approach things. There's always this internal grappling, wrestling, struggling with these internal matters. I shared this with you that I saw on Facebook the other day, that David defeated Goliath, but he lost to Bathsheba. Wow, isn't that something? He defeated Goliath, this giant of a man, this great warrior of the Philistines, but he lost to a woman, a naked woman who was bathing. He lost to Bathsheba. All that to say that our real giants are the desires that we have not killed. Our real giants, these internal wrestlings, are the desires that we have not killed. So we've got to learn to deny ourselves, to govern ourselves, and to overcome by faith. Overcome by faith. All right, so we want to launch into this talk about intensity. And I want to remind you again that a couple of weeks ago, actually it'd be 3 Sundays ago now, on November the 12th, Dr. Anthony Earl was with us, and he talked to us about the art of living with intensity, introduced this subject matter. And he told us that the word intensity means to stretch toward, to stretch toward. And he had all of us even acted out. We're stretching, stretch out your arm, stretch out your hand, and like you're stretching to grasp something, to reach something. You're stretching for something in front of you, to stretch toward. And intensity also means to pursue with, get this, with great fervor. To pursue with great fervor. Ooh, I like that. You can see this guy in the picture. He's intense, isn't he? His muscles are intense. He's doing a workout. He's got that heavy chain around his neck to put some weight on him as he's stretching toward the mark. Philippians chapter 3, Paul said, I'm reaching for the mark of the high call. Yeah, that's intensity. To pursue with great fervor. Now, as we spoke about this on Wednesday, my brother Dan Johnson was on the live that day, and we had breakfast later that morning, and so we were talking about these issues of intensity. And later on, as I was back at the office, Dan stopped in at the office for a minute. He said, Pastor Greg, I've got some points on intensity. And of course, with Dan, they all have to start with the same letter. So that's just the way his mind thinks. So Dan busted into the office and he gave me these points on intensity. And I thought it was so good. So I want to share these with you. And I told him I was going to use his stuff and he gave me permission. So it's okay. I'm using Dan. I'm even giving him credit. There's his name. 5 elements of intensity. Check this out. Passion, which leads to prayer, which leads to preparation, which leads to pursuit, which leads to practice. 5 elements of intensity. I'm going to add a few thoughts here. I want you to put these 5 elements into some assignment or a mission that you've been given, possibly a job that you've been given to do at work, maybe something going on with your family, whatever it may be. Now, when I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking of a mission or an assignment that I believe God has given concerning a certain situation in Inglewood, California, involving the church that I grew up in, my home church in Inglewood, California. And this actually started with a dream I had almost a year ago now, December the 1st, 2022. Actually, I had two dreams, but this specific dream, the second dream, had something to do with the church I grew up in. And so ever since then, I've been going through this process. I'm in now to 10 or 11 months of this now, of moving in this what I believe to be an assignment concerning this church in Inglewood, California. So, what does intensity begin with? It begins with passion. God may show you something, or somebody may present an idea to you, and passion begins to stir on the inside of you. So, passion is known as fervor, Fervor. Fervor. You become fervent about what God has given you to do. You become fervent about the assignment. Now, the opposite of being fervent is dullness. Dullness of hearing, dullness of heart. You're just kind of dull about it. You don't really care. You throw it into neutral and you just coast. That is not passion. So we're going to be moving with the fervor of God. That passion is going to lead us to pray. And prayer simply means that we are bringing God into the situation. He actually initiated it, but now we're going to say, God, I'm not sure about this. I don't understand what's happening here. I know you've shown me something, but I don't get all the details of it. I don't see all the ins and outs. So God, I'm inviting you, come on into this situation and bring me knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Show me what I need to see. Tell me what I need to hear. And so we're praying. So our passion moves us to prayer. And then as we're praying, the prayer part is going to move us to preparation. Preparation. This is where we begin to arrange things. We're constructing something. We're constructing a plan. We're arranging a plan. And the opposite of this would be unreadiness. If you're not prepared, you're unready. You're not ready for what's coming. Y'all get that? So we've got to move with preparation, arranging things, constructing a plan in our own minds, in our own thoughts. So prayer is good, but that prayer has to be used as something that ignites a desire to prepare. It's like being doers of the word and not hearers only. It's that type of concept. I'm going to pray. I'm going to believe God. I'm going to bring God into it. But then there are certain things that I have to do on my end of things. You have to do on your end of things. That's preparation. Then our preparation is going to lead us into a phase that's called pursuit. We begin to pursue what God has given us. So this is where it becomes a quest. Quest, a quest. Now I'm on a quest. The opposite of pursuit is retreat. I'm backing up. I'm afraid. I'm doubtful. I'm backing up into a corner. Maybe I'm giving up. Maybe I'm saying, this isn't going to happen. This is never going to take place. This is crazy. I must have ate pizza that night when I saw this thing. Yeah. Pursuit. You're on a quest. You're moving toward it with this preparation and with this prayer that's been going on. And then pursuit is going to give way to practice. Practice. This is where it's starting to get really practical now. Starting to put some feet on the ground. Starting to move with this. You see it happening and you're starting to take some real life, real time practical steps to move in the direction of this assignment being fulfilled. So this is where you're, excuse me, this is where you're developing a method, so to speak. You're developing a system. This is how I see this working out. You're as I said, you're putting feet on the ground. You're starting to move now. You're rolling with it. I've got a method. I see how to do this. I'm developing a system. Perhaps you're bringing people into the situation, people that you trust, people that you know have the same heart, the same mind that you do. Perhaps you're you're seeking financial resource. It could be any number of things, but it's getting very practical now. The opposite of practice is neglect. You just don't do anything. I neglect it. I leave it alone. I let it fall to the ground. I just back off and drop it and don't do anything. That's the opposite of practice. So we've got to move in these realms of passion, which leads us to prayer, which leads us to preparation, which leads us to pursuit, which leads us to practice. The habits that we form in moving in this assignment in practical ways versus an attitude of neglect. It says, I just drop it and don't do anything with it. All right? You got it? Passion, prayer, preparation, pursuit, practice. 5 elements of intensity. Thank you, Dan Johnson. Isn't that good? Good stuff. And then Dan gave me these 2 ideas, 2 requirements of intensity. These are also from Dan Johnson. We must know we are making progress. We must know we are making progress in this assignment. And so that means that we have to have a means of measuring. So we've set certain time frames, or maybe we've set some goals, and we measure our progress by seeing that we're hitting these certain moments on the time frame, timeline, or we're hitting these goals, we're reaching the goals that we're using to measure our progress. And then secondly, we must be aggressive as we make progress. We've got to be aggressive. Now that's speaking of a spirit. It's speaking of an attitude. I'm moving forward with an aggressive spirit, with an aggressive attitude. I'm speaking to mountains and commanding them to move out of the way. I'm hurling stones at giants and knocking them down and cutting their heads off. Anything that's resisting, anything that's hindering, anything that is opposing, we've got to get aggressive about it. Don't just be lackadaisical and just, oh yeah, whatever will be, will be. No, you've got to press through. You got to press through. You may have to break through some walls. You may have to knock some gates down. The enemy is going to try to stop you. And so you've got to be aggressive about moving forward. All right. Yeah. Look at Matthew chapter 5 and verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. Hungering and thirsting. Let me give you this point. Hungering and thirsting for righteousness are practices of passionate and intense pursuit. If you have a real hunger, a real thirst, I mean, you haven't eaten for a while, you haven't drank any water for a while, you're going to be passionate and intense about your pursuit. And as you hunger and as you thirst, you're going to be filled. Along with our sex drive, the drive for food is right up there. Those are 2 of the strongest drives or desires we have. Passionate and intense pursuit, hungering and thirsting, and you're going to be filled. Then we have this scripture we looked at the other day from 2 Timothy. Endure hardship as a good soldier. The soldier is engaged in warfare. That's intensity. An athlete is competing in a game, in a sport. He's practicing, he's preparing, he's getting ready. That's intensity. A hardworking farmer, that's intensity. And Paul says to Timothy, consider what I say, and may the Lord give you understanding in all things. So we saw this the other day, the focus and the obedience of a soldier, the discipline and determination of an athlete, the patience and faith of a farmer. These are exercises in intensity. Exercises in intensity. And then we saw this example of Phinehas in Numbers 25, where Balaam had been hired by the Moabite king to curse the people of Israel. And every time Balaam tried to speak a curse against Israel, God would stop him and God would turn it into words of blessing. So this king is paying Balaam to curse, and instead of cursing, he's blessing. So the plan wasn't working. But then Balaam came up with a very conniving, keen, manipulative plan. He said, King of the Moabites, if you will invite the men of Israel into your camp and give them your women, you will be able to bring them into a place where they bring a curse on themselves, because God will not put up with their messing around with these foreign women, the women of Moab, women outside of the covenant of God. And so the king did just that, and the men of Israel fell into the trap and started entering into these sexual relationships with the women of Moab. That was okay. It wasn't okay, but at least it was tolerable when it was outside the camp of Israel. But here in Numbers 25, we see that one man of Israel brought a Moabite woman into the camp of Israel, into his own tent. And when Phinehas, who's the grandson of Aaron the high priest, when Phinehas saw it, he took a javelin, he rose up, and he went after the man. Notice that statement. He went after the man. This is intensity now. And he enters the man's tent. Apparently, he catches the man and woman right in the act. The man probably on top of the woman. And he thrusts the javelin through the man, through the woman, into the ground, impaling both of them into the ground. Wow. Is that crazy or what? And so we see that God says something about Phinehas. He was zealous with my zeal. That's what the Lord says. He was zealous with my zeal. Now check this out. The zeal of Phinehas, his name Phinehas actually means oracle. The zeal that he had acted like a mouthpiece. In his action, he's declaring the fear of the Lord to the people of Israel. He's declaring it. When he takes his javelin and thrusts it through the man and the woman, it's an announcement. He's not speaking anything, but his action is an announcement about the fear of the Lord, the jealousy of God, the zeal of God. And this zealous action of Phinehas was powerful enough to stop a plague of judgment that had broken out among the people. Actually, 24,000 people died in this plague. Phinehas was able to stop the plague by his action of zeal. And the zeal of Phinehas was really the zeal of the Lord for his own holiness and for his people. Zeal, intensity. Zeal is another level of intensity. And then we saw the realm of prayer. We saw the realm of prayer as well. James 5:16. The effectual, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. New Living Translation, the earnest prayer of a righteous person has great power and produces wonderful results. The Amplified Bible, the heartfelt and persistent prayer of a righteous man, a believer, can accomplish much when put into action and made effective by God. It is dynamic and can have tremendous power. That is the Amplified Bible. Heartfelt and persistent prayer. Heartfelt and persistent. You keep it up. You keep it up. You keep pressing in prayer. This is intensity, fervency in prayer, intensity. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous man avails much. So, what does this type of intense prayer sound like? What does it look like? Does it mean we have to be loud and we're screaming at the top of our lungs? Does it mean we have to be pounding our fist on the floor? Does it mean we have to break out into a sweat? Does it mean we have to be crying? Do we have to be weeping? What does intense prayer sound like? What does it look like? Well, I think that's up to each individual, right? That's up to each person. Because what may be intense for me may not be intense for you. And what may be intense for you may not be intense for me. So it's coming out of our hearts, it's coming out of our spirit. How would you know if someone is praying effectively? They're praying fervently, with intensity. How do you know that? If someone's leading in prayer in your church service, how do you know that they're praying effectively, fervently, intensely? Is it the tone of their voice? Is it their volume level? Is it their physical action? What is it? What brings you to that place of realizing that intense prayer is happening, that it is fervent, that it is intense? So these are things for us to consider. These are things for us to consider about intensity, about intensity. All right. Come here, Jonathan. Come here. Come around here. I don't know why Jonathan is up so early, but he's up. He's up. He's up and moving. Would you come here, please? I'm going to have Jonathan say good morning to you. This is what Jonathan looks like when he gets out of bed in the morning. Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Lean in, lean in, lean in. Whoop, back up just a whoop. This way.
Hello.
Oh, my goodness. Wait, you're blurry. Wait, what do we need to do here?
So, anyway.
Here, move over this way. There you go. There you go. Okay, now we got it. He's almost falling over. Say good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, my goodness.
I was going to tell you.
This is intensity. This is it right here. This is intensity. Oh, God, help us. Oh, they're saying good morning to you. J-Man. Good morning, Jonathan. They're typing in the chat room, Jonathan. All right. All right. Say happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, the holiday.
Yeah.
And God bless anyone, the people. And we'll always pathetic to people.
Yeah. Not pathetic, prophetic. Prophetic. Okay, go ahead. All right. Is that it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, get out of here. Go. Go, go, go. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. Again, I don't know why he's up so early. Why are you up so early? Yeah, okay. Oh, well. This is how my morning's going to go. Okay. There goes my private time. Oh, hallelujah. Well, God bless you guys. I hope this has been beneficial for you this morning. Enjoy the day, this Black Friday. Don't spend too much money out there shopping. Be careful. Be careful of how much you are spending. Yeah, set aside your tithes and offerings for Sunday before you hit the stores, before you hit Amazon. All right, all right. God bless you. I declare everything you put your hands on today is going to prosper. It's going to be successful. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of this holiday weekend. Get in church somewhere this weekend. You need to be in person. You need to be with the people of God. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much. Have a great day today. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. I'll talk to you soon.